All right, guys, so we're talking about four-wheel drive this morning on the pickup. So let's talk about four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive in these crossovers or SUVs, if people want to call them that. Basically what everybody's driving these days, okay? So if you have a true old school Blazer, Bronco, something like that with a 4x4 shifter, like we were talking about this morning, where you got a knob that says 4 high, 2 high, everything like that, you're going to do it just like we talked about in the pickups. But when you get into these crossovers, and the older crossovers, they're just all-wheel drive, period, which means the system dictates itself what it needs to do when it detects wheel slippage. Now, most of these all-wheel drive vehicles are basically front wheel biased, meaning they're front wheel drive, and when the on-demand comes in, they kick back the all-wheel drive system to the rear. Now, let's just keep it simple. If you drive an older SUV crossover that doesn't have a selector and it's all-wheel drive, then this is probably not for you. But if you bought a new one of these and it has all these cool drive modes and geez Louise, I don't know what to pick and everything like that. Now, the owner's manual, most of the websites for the manufacturer will have their own little tutorial videos, but you can go into the owner's manual. It's a very obscure area where you're going to find it. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to understand any of these when it comes to your wheel slippage, find your auto setting. All right, so go to your book and find out what your auto or normal driving mode would be. For the Pathfinder, it's going to be this little highway, and we go up here to the system here where it says we can go to mud, rut, or auto. We're going to go find auto, which is again that little wheel, and you're going to leave it in that and just let the truck do itself, because sometimes these can get overcomplicated. If you want to use the snow mode, what that does is it changes the proportions of power and slippage to the wheels. But what we found is it allows the wheels to stop driving in most SUVs. So when it starts slipping, it's going to stop and put power to other ones. But you know what we found a few weeks ago? My parents bought this identical car, and in snow mode, it couldn't get up their little berm into through the snow and ice, couldn't get up into the garage, and it is a steep little incline. But that being said, they also never had a problem with this in their 2010 Acadia. The 2010 Acadia was just an automatic all-wheel drive system, which demanded on its own, it did its own thinking of when it slipped and everything like that. Well, after hours of digging in the snow and everything, before my mom called me, she went out and dug all the snow out, and then in the snow it still just wouldn't get quite up. So instead of trying the deep mud and rut and everything like that, she put it back to normal, and the thing climbed like a Panzer into the garage. So if you want to find out what each cool little drive mode does, head to your owner's manual for your specific vehicle, or reach out to me, because I've probably owned it and I can probably tell you what you want to be in. If you don't have that selector, you're good to go. And if you have a manual linkage or a shift like the new Broncos, or say a Jeep Wrangler, some older Blazers, older Broncos, stuff like that, you might actually have those separate drive modes. But just to keep it simple, don't pull your hair out, don't worry about it. Normal mode is perfectly fine for every situation that you're going to encounter in a new crossover SUV when it comes to your all-wheel drive modes. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't worry about it. If you get stuck, go back to normal and you'll be good to go. Everybody out there, please subscribe to my channel. We're getting up there really quick. A lot of cool people reaching out to me about videos I've been making lately. I wanted to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'd like to get to a point where I can actually get more vehicle content onto my channel, more questions. If you guys have specific questions about a model of vehicle, I probably have owned it at one point, and I know it like the back of my hand. So you can reach out to me and say, hey, have you ever had a 19, or say, let's say a 2003 Jimmy? I've had one. So you can call out to me and say, hey, what's going on? But until then, guys, if you don't like notifications, don't worry about clicking the bell, but please do subscribe. Until next time, drive safe out there.